What we're doing here is we're going to install air suspension and auto leveling feature E-level from Accuair on Ronnie's C-20, 1973 C-20, dubbed Yellowstone.
You guys, if we even get through this, it's going to be a miracle. So we got Seth, the man behind the camera, and we're figuring it out. First thing we're going to do, we're going to pull the bed. We got Robbie, we got Jason, we got Seth and his muscles, and we're going to pull this bed. So if you can pull the bed, you're starting off. A little bit of work at the front side, it's going to help you a lot on the back side. So here we go, have fun. Switch, C-10 Talk, Yellowstone, 3/4 ton, C-20, C-30, 8 lug. It doesn't really matter when it comes to Accuair. It doesn't care. Accuair don't care. Okay? So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna pull the wheel off, obviously. We're gonna put new spindles. And these are your spindles. You kind of have 3/4 ton.
We're gonna be using switch suspensions, C-20, C-30, 1973 to 1991, 3-inch drop spindles.
And I'm running 16s on Yellowstone, and that's a big thing. Realize that that's about as small a wheel as you're gonna be able to run with the hub, with the brake. We're gonna pull spindle off, and then we're gonna get into the control arms. And when we get to there, we'll get back with you, but we're gonna have to put some plates and bag mounts. I don't know if you guys can see me right now. Robbie's drilling the holes essentially for the top plate, and we'll be able to mount the bag. You'll see essentially where we can mount the top of the bag. All right, you guys, we're gonna keep the truck stock from the cross member and the lower control arms. So what you can get here at Seth, at Switch, Seth Suspension. Is that supposed to be in your teeth? Shut up. We're gonna keep the stock cross member, stock control arms, lower control arms. And so what we can get, well, Seth will tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so what we got here is the upper plate. We just have a very simple bag bracket that will drill and bolt in to your cross member on your factory C-10 or C-20 or C-30 cross member. And then we've got a cup for the lower control arm. And this cup is adjustable. It comes in this height here, and it's set up for a pretty small size tire. So if you're going with anything larger, or 22 or anything larger than that, the cup is designed to be cut down. So you basically tailor this cup to the height of your tires.
So right now it looks like it's about, what, 4 to 5 inches?
It's about 4 inches.
It's about 4 inches right now. So you can take an inch or two out. We're actually gonna take out a 1/2 inch of this. Robbie's in the back, he's getting ready to cut. That's probably what you were hearing. Are we talking loud enough? We're gonna cut a 1/2 inch out of this for the lower control arm. And then we got the Slam specialty bags.
Yeah, we have the SS series Slam bags here. These are a double wall construction with an internal bump stop, composite end caps. Pretty much the premier airbag in the industry.
All right. You guys, episode 58, we talked a lot about lubricity, Loctite 545, and in the Accuair kit, they send you a 565. That can only be that much better. I mean, 565 has got to be better than 545, but 545 will still do it. You'll still have plenty of lubricity. Honestly, this stuff works really, really good. Before I came and recorded the podcast with these guys, I hadn't used this stuff. I'd used Loctite, but this stuff is awesome. A lot of your fittings will come with it already on there. You don't want the Teflon tape because it can come off. Little pieces of it can flare off and then go into your system. Jason does this all the time. What's your advice and the whole mock-up?
We use it here on every fitting that we install, just because we don't like stuff coming back. And if anything leaks down, then the customer's upset. So this is basically cheap insurance for us that we're not going to have leaks on our pipe thread fittings.
What do you think about if it already has the dried stuff on there? Dude, is it attack? We're getting attacked right now. What do you think if it's already on there? Do they add a little?
I always do.
Okay,
a little bit of insurance. Yeah.
Okay, lubricity, more lubricity. If it's got that on there, if it's already got the dried on there, you'll see that. You probably don't have to, but insurance is good. If you see a fitting that doesn't have it on there and it's plain, then that's your sign to get it. You'll go through this quick. This little guy, maybe one setup, it probably depends on how generous you are with it. So a little bottle like this, you can get it here. They'll sell it to you. And what about the mock-up? How many times are you seeing that you tend to set everything up before you do the final work?
Well, it just depends on the vehicle. So on this one, we've probably had this tank, in and out 5-6 times before we finally welded bracketry in to locate the tank. So that's typical. Sometimes the cars where you're in a trunk, you got a lot more space, but if you're trying to hide everything underneath the truck, yeah, we loose mount everything a few times and then we start dialing in exactly where things need to go and positions of fittings you draw, like here, and that way the fittings clocked correctly and everything goes together well.
We're in a tight space in the back of the truck, so we had to kind of caress the frame a little bit, and one thing he's looking at, Jason's looking at too, is getting some 90s in so we can run on the inner channel of the frame and run some of the important stuff, some of the wiring, some of the different parts of the air management. So when you mock it all up, you're spending less time on the bench and then you are getting frustrated up on the truck.
Yeah, absolutely. So you try to locate everything as best you can underneath the vehicle and take notes, draw in the tank, whatever you need to do, and then build it all out here on the bench.
Okay, I'm gonna go continue running the airline. We're gonna get power up to the battery, and we've got to run our wire for our E-level, E-level remote. So I'm gonna go do that, and he's gonna continue setting up the EXO mount and all the plumbing. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
You guys, the lower control arms on this truck were old, 45 years old. So we were able to replace them with new control arms, which really for the price and the labor, new bushings, new control shafts, new ball joints, but we've got to go ahead and take off the bump stop and the steering stop. So Robbie's going to go ahead and cut that out. You can use a regular 4.5 cut wheel. He's using a recip saw. And then what we do is we take the lower bag mount, the cup, and the cup will go in here in the lower control arm. You get an idea of how it's all mounted, and your Accuair directions are pretty specific on where to plug that, and then each wire where it goes from there. Now what about this bigger gray one right here?
So that's built into the power harness, but that's the pressure sensor. So we mounted that in the frame rail over here. So we're just going to route that along with our remote wire and then tie it into the pressure sensor. It plugs right in.
Okay. All right, you guys, so what we're going to go through is setting essentially the air pressure and the PSI, because the Accuair system comes at 150, and I have been driving it around. We're gonna up it to 200. We're gonna skip 175 because the weight with the camper, the shell that's currently on, it's a lot of weight for this truck, so we're gonna check it out and see what we can do at 200. So Seth's gonna walk us through it.
Yeah, so it's really easy to change the setting. We just need to turn the ignition on and enter into the programming mode by pressing the program button once. Once we're into program mode, you can see here this indicator is saying that it is at 175. If we push the number 4 down arrow, you'll get an alternating lights between number 3 down and number 4 down, indicating that you're at 175. And then if we push the number 4 arrow down again, it'll show the setting just steady on number 4 down, indicating that you've now changed the tank pressure to 200 PSI. You can see it'll automatically time out after 5 seconds of no use. And then at this point, we need to recalibrate the system so that it'll lift and drop properly with the new tank pressure. All right, so we're to the point now we're going to do the automatic system calibration. We've reset the tank pressure to 200 PSI, and so we need to turn the ignition on the truck again and start it. Once the truck is started, the reason we start the truck is so that the compressors can have enough power, because the compressors are going to run a lot during this calibration, and so we want to make sure they have ample power. So to enter into the calibration mode, we simply hold down the program button and the number 2 button at the same time. You can see by the strobing lights that the calibration mode has been entered, and it is going to start automatically calibrating the height right now.
And to lock in the new change of the PSI, this is required.
Okay, so what we're doing now is setting up the automatic system calibration. So basically the E-level wants to know the maximum height, maximum drop, and all the range in between so that it can set up for the auto leveling. So what you have to do is basically you just need the vehicle on level ground, and then you need to leave the vehicle running so that the compressors can have good power throughout this process. And so you enter into the automatic calibration mode, and then what it does is it starts adjusting the vehicle throughout its total travel. It'll lift the front, lift the back, drop the rear, and then kind of like test each corner. And what it's doing is just seeing how much time the valve needs to stay open and how much travel it gets in that amount of time. So once it finishes this calibration, it'll then it'll stop on level 2, keep the compressors, the tank pressure up to whatever you set it at, in this case 200 PSI, and then you'll know it's done.